Midnight whispers in the alleyway. Steel toe kicks on the pavement play. Silent moves like a ghost in flight. Hood up tight beneath the street light. Echoes scream but the sirens lie. Justice sleeps while the wicked rise. Fists don't talk, they recite the law. Every hit leaves the guilty raw. Shadow justice in the neon glow. Dancing dark with a lost soul's goal. One wrong step and you're in my sight. I'm the judge in the dead of night. I'm the judge in the dead of night. Moonlight spills like a silver stain. Truth don't bend for the dollar's chain. Bloodstained rhythm, my heart still pure to the last wrong phase from the door. Concrete scars tell the tales untold. Every crack holds a story cold. Breath like smoke when the chase begins. No remorse when the sinner grins. Handcuffed dreams in a crooked town. Kings of ash wear a plastic crown, but the fire burn where the shadows creep. Out on west till the streets can sleep. Shadow justice in the neon glow. Dancing dark where the lost souls go. One wrong step and you're in my sight. I'm the judge in the dead of night. I'm the judge in the dead of night.
Silent cold. Footsteps echo where the shadows blow. A flicker moves behind the alley light. A puzzle forms in the neon night. Whispers weave through the city's pain. Hey, clues unfold like a dollar chain. Got a sharp mind and a sharper creed. Justice rides on a baseline beat. Shadow beats, street clues. Every move got a rhythm to prove. Catch the truth in a lyrical groove. No case cold when the hip hop. Sirens live, yeah. Fingerprints on a vinyl trail. The microphone's my magnifying glass, spitting bars till the mystery cracks. Suspects scatter when the hook comes in, yeah. True spins like a breakdance swing. No disguise can escape the sound. When the beat drops, all lies come down. Shadow beats, spring through. Every move got a rhythm to prove. race we choose. Rhyme don't stand when the rhyme moves.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing? I might have to adjust my light, so give me a second. But how's everyone doing this Saturday morning? You know, I've been watching all the updates in the recent trial. Obviously, you guys can know that's probably what sparked the need or want to have this conversation. But I've been watching everything the last few weeks, days, whatever you want to call it, of all the updates, right? Seeing what evidence was had against Milagro, what Meg is suing for, and also seeing the public dialogue. And, I'll say that's the number one thing that disappointed me and that kind of prompted me to have this conversation because, again, people think they can be online as social influencers, social media influencers, whatever they want to call themselves, and expect that there's no responsibility, that they can say and do anything like a regular public person with zero consequences. And we are just sort of beyond that. Hey, Bruce. Bruce is on the loose. How you doing? Good morning. Welcome to the show. Let me say good morning to all my chat people, Joanne Jenkins, and of course we have our people dwelling in the clouds. For those of you in the clouds watching, feel free to subscribe, share, um, be a part of the community here. I would appreciate all of that. But we're about to get into the show here, and I wanted to do this specifically because I'm simply tired of people feeling like they have no duty to tell the truth, to put out the real truth, nothing but the truth. So so help me God, right? People choose to do what suits them, what's popular opinion, what most people are doing, and I'm gonna show you guys multiple pieces of evidence proving that not only is Milagro, but several other multi-million platforms, because Milagro is not that, but platforms that are multi-million dollar platforms have also, spewed misinformation, talked about this case in sort of just kind of a frivolous way, not really thinking about the consequences to what they were saying, how it would sway public opinion. And so you have people today treating Tory Lanez like he is the modern day O.J. Simpson or Rodney King, whatever you want to call it, right? Honestly, it's ridiculous what I'm seeing. So we're going to get into all of it, and we're going to talk about the upcoming trial as well, but we're going to go all the way back to when Tory Lanez was convicted. And we're going to start by looking at the statement from the the DA's office in LA, because I think a lot of people try to act like, Meg just lied about so many things, and so all of that's going to come to light. I mean, we're going to see reporting from people who claim to be on the ground that just completely fabricated information as well. All right, so let's kind of start off with the DA's office here. And here I'm going to start with the article, and then we're going to watch the press conference after this happened. All right, so the Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon announced today that Daystar Peterson, the rap artist known as Tory Lanez, was sentenced to 10 years in state prison after he was convicted by a jury of the 2020 attack and shooting of musical artist Megan Pete, also known as Megan the Stallion, in the Hollywood Hills. Over the past 3 years, Mr. Peterson, which is his last name, Daystar Peterson, Megan Pete Peterson. It's weird how their names are very similar. But Mr. Peterson engaged in a pattern of conduct that was intended to intimidate Miss Pete and silence her truths from being heard. Women, especially Black women, are afraid to report crimes like assault because they are too often not believed. I commend Megan Pete for her incredible bravery and vulnerability, as she often as she underwent months of probing investigation and court appearances where she had to relive her trauma and the public scrutiny that followed, right? And let's highlight public scrutiny here, because the way that Megan the Stallion has been treated in the media, especially in these, black medias like DJ Academics, Milagro, all those different media platforms, they have really sort of played with her, taken misinformation and just sort of ran with it. So we're going to move on here to the district attorney's press conference, and I just want you all to hear it in person. So he's going to say it in English, then he's going to say it in Spanish, and then some other people are going to speak about it, right? Because what's significant about this case isn't just the fact that, Meg had to go and relive her trauma. She also is still today dealing with the public scrutiny that is coming from the community, where a lot of people got their information from channels and blogs like Milagro that had no real, if there was no real there was no real information to back anything that these posts, that these channels were dropping, just completely fabricated versions of what's going on, while the real trial is happening and the evidence there is what convicts Daystar. And I'm not gonna, he's Tory Lanez, but his real name is Daystar Peterson. He's the man who committed this. People have to let go of their attachments to these artists and these celebrities that you don't know. Doesn't matter if you like his music. He was an individual. He was Daystar. You knew him as Tory Lanez, but his name was Daystar Peterson, and that's the man who committed the act against Meg the Stallion. All right, so let's listen to a little bit of this press conference.
Good afternoon. We're going to get started. This press conference is about the sentence of Peter. The district attorney will make English and Spanish. We're joined by Tanisha Victim Services. The prosecutors assigned to handle this case: Deputy District Attorney Kathy Taw, Deputy District Attorney Alex Bott, the head deputy of the Family Violence Division, Stephanie Meyer, and the Director of Specialized Prosecutions, Larry Drager. We'll start with the District Attorney, followed by Ms. Wright. Deputy District Attorney Alex Bott will then give a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. It seems like some of you were here just a few minutes ago. Huh? We spent all day here today. Well, good afternoon again. Today we're here to talk about Daystar Peterson, also known as Tory Lanez, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the July 12, 2020 attack on Megan Pete, also known as Megan the Stallion. Over the past 3 years, Mr. Peterson has engaged in a pattern of conduct that was intended to intimidate Ms. Pete, silence her, and keep her from defending and bringing her truth out. Despite the physical violence, verbal attacks, and attempts at public humiliation, Ms. Pete remained strong and shared the events of that fateful night with the jury and the world. The fact that Ms. Pete is a successful entertainer has brought a spotlight on the important issue of violence against women. There are many people in our community that endure acts of violence every day from people close to them and feel reluctant to come forward when this happens. I hope that Ms. Pete's bravery gives hope to those that feel helpless. In fact, today, as sentencing, through her statement, and yesterday, Ms. Pete thought of others who have been similarly situated, and I'm going to read a portion of the statement that she made to the court, because I think it drives home what she has endured and what she's trying to do. And I say, on quotes, "Every day I think of others across the world who are victims of violence and survive. It is truly the most powerless feeling, especially when you question whether the justice system can truly protect you. Fortunately, the district attorney's office fought for me. I'm incredibly grateful to them and the jury for the attention to the evidence and siding with the truth. But it can happen. If it can happen to me, imagine those who lack the resources and support systems to help them." Unquote. I want to assure all the victims of crime and members of our community that we are here to help and support them in their journey to healing. I'd like to thank the jury for their time and for critically and objectively viewing the evidence in this case. Jurors play a critical role in the criminal legal system, and I'm thankful for their work. I also like to thank the Los Angeles Police Department for a thorough investigation and supporting our prosecutors throughout this process. Finally, I'd like to thank Deputy District Attorneys Kathy Ta and Alex Bott, who are here to my right, your left. They made tremendous sacrifices and endure attacks that they shouldn't have to. They were attacked in social media. Their integrity was questioned with lies, much the same way that in this case the defendant attacked the victim and tried to victim blame. Despite all of this, they remain professional, worked tirelessly to litigate this case under intense scrutiny. I also want to thank the rest of our team, our investigators, victim services, so many others. They had to work so hard in order to bring this case together. But as I was telling our attorneys earlier today, at the end of the day, the team is only as good as the people that are on the front, and it was you guys who were at the tip of the spear, and we appreciate what you did. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish very quickly. We'll have others speak.
And I'll let him kind of do that in Spanish, and then when we see the other people talking, I'll unmute it. Now, one thing that we have to understand here is he talked about intense public scrutiny, right? And this is one thing I think people are going to just try to not acknowledge today, but the scrutiny was coming to the DA's office, to other people that were involved in investigating this case from the public, based off of statements that were made by Milagro-grams, DJ academics, people on Tory Lanez's team, right? We're going to see multiple examples of that, because I'm not just going to say that, but they're specifically talking about the fact that they were publicly being dragged because of these social media crusades that people were going on that were not fact-based. They were not fact-based in any way, shape, or form. And now you have so many people right now, while Megan is getting her justice against the people who lied on her in the media, who promoted deep fakes, who put out false information during the trial, right? And they're acting like Megan is just, trying to put the nail in the coffin, right? She already got him in jail, and she's trying to hurt that black man even more. And it's like, that's not the case here. Right? Daystar Peterson was not a healthy man. Right? We saw the proof that he punched August Alsina in the face. Unprovoked, really. Right? And later came, that was one of the reasons why, he got in legal trouble as well. Because you're already in jail for shooting a woman when you got drunk. And now you're just going to be punching people in these celebrity environments that you're in. You think they're not going to call the police? He has erratic, violent behavior, but yet so many people are online making excuses for him, blaming Megan for where he is in the justice system right now. First of all, he ended up being remanded or whatever or I don't think he actually ended up getting permanently locked down after his little fight with August, right? But after the trial went through, he ended up being remanded to jail for, the 10-year sentence. That's when he first got locked down, because he was out on bail. So mind you, he's out and he's just doing all this foolishness. And we're supposed to expect that Megan isn't going to sue for this nonsense? Right? You have so many people demonizing her and saying that she just wants to beat down on the black man. Why is nobody addressing this erratic violence that's in the community running rampant? Thank you so much, Black Beauty, for the thank you. I appreciate you. I saw it popping up in the chat, distracted me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the donation. If you guys could all do me a favor while we're sitting here now and chatting, to hit the like button for me. It's free. I genuinely would appreciate if you guys can do all that for me. Hey, Mr. Girl Dad, cooking up deliciousness. Hopefully you're having a delicious breakfast or brunch. Appreciate you for joining me this morning. Let's continue. So it looks like he's still translating in Spanish.
Now I'm going to turn it over to
Perfect timing.
Tanisha. Tanisha Wright is the Director of Victim Services for our office.
Thank you. Thank you. I am Tanisha Wright. I am the Director of the Bureau of Victim Services. I first and foremost want to express my sincere condolences to the victim for the pain and the trauma that she has had to experience over the past few years. At the Bureau of Victim Services, we are dedicated to helping victims reclaim their voice, advocate for themselves, and find their path to healing and wholeness. Violence against Black women and girls is a long-standing national epidemic that has long been overlooked and underreported. Women of color, more times than not, do not come forward to report victimization due to the fear that they will not be believed. Women of color are also more likely to be victim blamed and shamed for their experiences, especially in high-profile trials involving violence against women, which further traumatizes the victim and prevents their voice from being heard. No victim should ever have to feel belittled or attacked or dragged through social media because they were brave enough to step forward and report their abuse. Victims deserve a right to be vulnerable and to speak their truth. Women of color deserve the right to seek justice and to have our voices heard, to be taken seriously, to be protected, and also be free from violence and harm and the countless barriers that prevents women from reporting incidents of violence in the first place. Women of color also deserve specific and concrete solutions that will contribute to the decrease in incidents of gender-based violence. For anyone who has survived violence, please know that your feelings are valid and you matter. I want to personally let all victims out there know that you have a right to report any type of crime. You have a right to seek the support from our office, and even if you do not wish to go through the legal process, you are still entitled to receiving victim services in a safe and non-judgmental and trauma-informed environment. Our office will continue supporting victims. We are always ready and here to support any victims that need support and resources. Our number is 1-800-380-3811. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Bott. I'm one of the deputy district attorneys who prosecuted this case, along with my colleague, Kathy Taw. Today, the judge sentenced the defendant, Tory Lanez, to 10 years in state prison. And my first thought was, I was thrilled for Megan. This has been a long and hard road for her. Not only did the defendant do the heinous act of shooting her, he then subjected her to 2.5 years of hell. He called her a liar. He intimidated her. He harassed her. Nevertheless, in the face of all of that abuse and vitriol, Megan showed the courage to come forward and speak her truth. And today's sentence is justice for Megan. It also sends a message to the defendant that actions have consequences. Now, I prosecute cases of domestic violence, and all too often we have victims that are too afraid, too ashamed, or too embarrassed to come forward and speak their truth about the abuse they suffered. I hope that future victims can look to Megan and her courage and also find the courage to come forward and get the justice that they deserve. Thank you very much.
Kathy, you want to say a few words, Kathy?
I've had this case for 3 years, and I can tell you I've seen the transformative impact it's had on Megan and I've seen the trauma she's undergone in the last 3 years. And I am incredibly relieved on her behalf. I thank the jurors because it was really difficult to sit through a case like this under the scrutiny that they faced. I thank all the parties that assisted in this case. This was actually a team effort. We had the Bureau investigation help us, members of the Family Violence Unit, victim advocates. This is not something we could have done on our own. But ultimately, I thank Megan. I know we've talked a lot about her bravery and courage. I cannot emphasize enough the power that it must have taken someone with that level of trauma that she's undergone and the willingness to come forward after being vilified online, after being subjected to just all the harmful words, and then having to go into court and face your accuser and to sit there and relive and re-experience your trauma all over again. That is not easy. So I thank you very much for her being there, for her sticking this out. I hope that this brings her some level of closure and that from here on out, this is another chapter she can move away from and she can start rebuilding. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Are there any questions from anyone? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your patience.
And they're not playing about the public scrutiny. I wanted to make sure that you guys understood where the media, or sorry, not the media, where the DA, the justice system is coming from, how they view this. They're not going to go online and follow this case via milagograms. Let me just tell you that. They're not going to follow the case of Tory Lanez and Megan the Stallion being shot by him via milagrogram. So they have a very different perspective than the public, or the public on social media will say, about how this case went down. And there's a major issue in how things were portrayed. All right. So I want to start by, let me start with DJ Academics. All right. So I found this really great video here where, obviously this video didn't go viral because it didn't break things down in the way that the algorithm would have wanted a video to do. But what this video did do was break down the absolute facts of why a lot of people, including DJ Academics, were online swaying public opinion about what actually happened in this case. She was innocent the whole time and people dragged her. Now, here's the thing, too. People want to take the fact that she lied about her sexual relationship with Tory Lanez and act like that's a reason to assume that what the DNA evidence points to is not correct as well. Right? But we're going to start with this video. I actually found this video a little bit late when I was preparing for the video. That's why I had to push the stream back a little bit. But I want to go through every piece of it because this video truly outlined how social media influencers actually do have the ability to sway the public. Right? Just the same way the news media can get on the news and say, oh, this person was a thug, gangster, this, that, and the third. That's the same way that some of these bloggers can sway the media and their opinions, public opinion. All right, so we're going to talk about DJ Academics, and I hope that this is the next person that Megan is looking to sue. Okay, give me a favor, guys. Do me a favor, guys, and hit the like button. All right, let's get into it. And listen, the accent of the person streaming don't even matter because he's spitting pure facts. All right, so I'm going to put it up. I'm going to speed up just a little bit so we can really get into the crux of this in the next hour or two as I walk you guys down on
is here.
How several of these social media influencers use their influence and their own pages to peddle the perception that Tory Lanez was innocent. All right, let's go.
And we are going to start off this new year with a bang. So I wanted to do this because I've been, the topic of misinformation and disinformation is something I wanted to jump into. And
mind you, this video is 2 years old. And I just want to show you guys something, right? And I hope that a lawsuit is coming. In the comment section, someone said, you did a good job, bro. I hope Meg sues. After we watch this video, I want you guys to give your opinion on whether you think that DJ Academics is responsible in some way for disseminating misinformation. And if it's this obvious, we know a lawsuit is probably coming his way as well. But he has more money than Milagro, so they might not. But let's get into this one. Good morning, Libra Monkey. Let's get into it.
And I didn't fully cover and give my thoughts on the Tory Lanez trial, but I think this is a good case study of misinformation, disinformation, how media, especially independent media, really have to hold themselves to a higher standard when it comes to reporting the news. And I think this is a very great opportunity to use DJ Academics as an example, as just to show some of the ways he was moving during this trial. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 major issues of misinformation that I've seen from DJ Academics. One of the details actually misled me. So to be completely honest, I watched several different independent outlets throughout the trial. There are several different people covering this trial. DJ Academics, there was a lawyer called Lawyer for Workers. There is a Houston radio host called Milagro Grams. There was also Nika Knight, Armand Wiggins, the official King Payne. There was Dennis Byron. Shout out to Dennis Byron. So I didn't just stick to one person. I stick to, a good collection of people who are at the trial.
And this is a problem with a lot of people who are consuming the media on this particular case. They're not diversifying their sources. They're simply sticking to what one creator is saying or someone that they believe is more popular. That's who they're following, and they're following their word like it's gospel. So while I heard people saying, oh, these aren't cults, it doesn't fit the definition, the way that they're spreading this information is heavily influential. And they're going to have to create a whole new lane for what social media influencers can do to public opinion and how they can sway public scrutiny. Because they have to have a responsibility in that. You want to be this platform, you want to have your own public independent news space, then you need to be held to the same standards as every other news media reporting site. Right? You should not just be able to spread misinformation without having any real evidence for what you're saying, or actually holding yourself accountable and coming back and saying, hey, what I said was incorrect. All right, let's get into it.
So I did that's how I do. I think that's the best way to digest information, is never to get it from one source. It's always better to have multiple sources so you get a better picture and you overlap pretty much what everybody is saying. But in terms of this topic, the 3 major times I've seen DJ Academics give out misinformation, and I still see some of the misinformation being repeated still to this day, even after the guilty verdict. The first one, I think the main one, and I think this was really what caused the issue with DJ Academics being more biased towards Tory Lanez. And I think he was always biased towards Tory Lanez because they did have a relationship, right? But I think when he did this tweet, really raised my eyebrows into the kind of reporting he was doing, very fast and loose. So the first issue is with the whole tweet with the DNA, right? So DJ Academics, he first tweeted, this was February 23. DJ Academics first tweeted that there was no DNA evidence on the gun, right? Academics claimed via Twitter, no DNA evidence was found on the weapon. He later deleted that tweet once he got the backlash, right? And the truth was, it wasn't that there wasn't any DNA evidence, but from this update here, after Academics deleted the initial tweet, Tory Lanez trial adjourned until April, with Tory's lawyer telling the court they have completed DNA results from the prosecution, which is very pleasing to his client. He said he saw the doc itself. It literally says it was inconclusive in finding Tory DNA on the gun or magazine. See, now you say, now one of y'all finna tell me my eyes deceive me. I ain't Tasha K. Stop playing with me. So Tasha K is another independent media blogger, right? So I understand what Academics is trying to say here, but he made a mistake in saying that inconclusive was negative, right? Because inconclusive does not mean negative. I think that's the problem. I think, DJ Academics was a little bit fast and loose. And to be quite honest, I don't think he knew the definition of inconclusive. So he wrongly attributed inconclusive to negative. So the issue wasn't that you were wrong. The issue was that he reported the wrong Well, yeah, the issue was he was wrong. He reported the wrong information. He had thought he had posted the correct information because he would have said that Tory's DNA was inconclusive, which doesn't.
And let's look at the difference between what inconclusive means versus negative, right? Someone can very well be eliminated from the gene pool of DNA evidence, right? That's why officers and other people that handle evidence give in their DNA so that they can be excluded from, possibly being the person whose DNA that was involved in the actual case, right? And what they do is they compare the results. Inconclusive does not mean his DNA was not present. It means that they can't exclude or include him, right? And that's the problem with what he was saying here, right? An inconclusive DNA result means the test did not provide a clear-cut answer. So the person cannot definitively be included or excluded. This can happen if there is not enough DNA, the sample is a mixture of multiple people's DNA, or due to technical issues such as degraded sample. An inconclusive result indicates uncertainty, and further testing is often needed to reach a definitive conclusion. Sorry, I was literally combining a bunch of things. And now let's think about it like this. If they're in the car and there's heat of the moment stuff going on, is it possible that his DNA was mixed in with other people's? Absolutely. Right? It's even possible that they tried to remove some of the DNA, right? And so even though his DNA was there wasn't enough to build a true profile. And that's where you'll get inconclusive. It doesn't mean that a person is excluded specifically. And if it wasn't him, he would have been excluded. There would not be this whole up in the air about it. So I think just saying in general that, it's inconclusive, it means he wasn't, right? That's misspeaking. Um, yeah, they really hate her. They truly hate her. And I don't know if it's just because she's with Klay Thompson. I think they've hated her since she chose to recant her statement that she stepped on glass, right? Because obviously she understood when she recanted her statement that everything would tell the true story. She had bullet fragments in her foot. Her foot, she was seen walking with her foot bleeding profusely. Yes, she had an issue with her friend going on at the time. That doesn't change anything with how things went down, right? Eyewitness statements, all of that stuff. The way all of this has been portrayed from the beginning has been in opposition to what Meg went through. And so we're going to see how academics played a part in that. So first is by telling this clear-cut lie, stating that there's no proof that his DNA was excluded, essentially, right? Because obviously he didn't know what inconclusive means. Oh, hold on. You can't hear? Oh no. It's not supposed to be me talking. It's supposed to be this stream. Hold on. Um. Oh, hold on. Can't hear? Hold on. Let me see. No. It's not supposed to be. Hold on. You see now, YouTube want to be playing with me. Because you guys could hear the video before, right? Hold on. What's going on? And I hope that this is the next. Right.
Official campaign.
Yeah.
There was Dennis Byron. Shout out to Dennis Byron. So I didn't just stick to one person.
Okay, so there's no reason why you guys shouldn't be able to hear this video right now. Hold on, I'm gonna put it back up because now they're trying to play. Hold on, because YouTube be trying to play with people. What is going on? Like, um, yeah, I should be able to hear. You got that on. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna play it again. You guys should be hearing the playback of this video.
Shit up, essentially. Maybe he doesn't realize how he made shit up. Maybe he doesn't realize that he reported a little bit too fast. Maybe he doesn't realize he didn't know what the word inconclusive means, but you definitely reported the wrong shit. So, and just a little, I just gotta mention this about disinformation and misinformation. Disinformation is when you purposely put out false information to the public. Misinformation is when you unintentionally put out false information to the public, meaning you did not know that the information was false. So in that case, I mean, misinformation is not a rare thing. Media outlets usually give retractions when they give out disinformation when they realize that they messed up, and it's a normal part of the game. Just retract what you said, and it's in line with journalistic standards. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. These content creators, and thank you guys for letting me know you can hear it now. But these content creators like DJ Academics and things like that, they want to be these sites that report and that people trust the information that they get. But you still have to have integrity. You can't just report anything and then expect that people are going to trust you as a news source. Essentially, he was simply reporting just anything he felt like, or he was being told specifically to manipulate the truth. And that's the problem here. I truly do hope that he's next on Megan's list, but you got to keep in mind he's a much bigger party than DJ Academics, right? He would be harder to sue due to his financial entanglements and things like that, but it might still be able to be done.
here, by the way, Meg can get the same document that they referenced in court today. Hopefully, she's entitled to see what the DA will be using against Tory, being that she's the victim. As part of discovery, ask the DA what the completed DNA test said, then come back and apologize to Big AK. So I see what he's doing. Like he's trying to save face for the initial misstep because he said breaking. I should have gotten the tweet, but he had breaking Tory's DNA not found on the gun. So he made it seem like his DNA wasn't on the gun at all, when in reality it was inconclusive. And there's many different reasons why DNA could be inconclusive. I'm not going to get into it, but the main thing was academics said there was no DNA, and in fact, it was inconclusive. So this is Meg the Stallion's response. So like big AK, the Soldier Boy voice, little boy, please. Why would you post there was no DNA found, but now saying it's inconclusive? How are you specifically able to see documents before they come out in court? What you saying is his lawyer sharing evidence with bloggers. Got it. Take your big on somewhere. So this goes to the heart of the issue that academics is ignoring. He reported there was no DNA found when in actuality it was inconclusive. And I just really think he just did not know the definition of inconclusive. But even till this day, after the guilty verdict, you have people still saying Tory's DNA was not found on the gun. You still have people saying that. And I think a big part of that is this misstep with academics and just general education levels. People don't know the definition of inconclusive. Like, I mean, I know it has conclusive in the word, but it's not exactly, doesn't mean what it sounds like, essentially, right? So moving on to the next thing. So that was the big one. This was before the trial, right? So now I have an issue. The second main issue was essentially during the trial. So the second piece of disinformation is going to come from one of academics' live streams, and he is reacting to the color of the gun. So I'm not going to put the
And keep in mind, listen to his tone when speaking about this, right? Because I think, again, when you have a big platform, okay, sure, you're not CBS, you're not Fox News, right? But a lot of people watch DJ Academics. When I see him live, I see 15, 20,000 plus people watching him. Whether you are considered popular or not in the real world, if you have that many people watching you, you have a responsibility to be responsible with the information that you are putting out there. And I think that's just not there with a lot of these bloggers and people who get online and think that they can just say anything. If you want to be a nobody who gets no views and nobody watches you, sure, you can say whatever you want. But the message needs to go out that if you are going to have a larger platform, you need to be responsible with the information you put out there. And whether Meg decides to go for academics or not in terms of suing, what he has done is similar to what Milagro has done, right? They have both used their platforms to disseminate inaccurate information. All right, let's continue.
the video. I don't want to deal with no strikes, but I would put the audio and I will put up the video just enough so you can see what exactly he's presenting. So in this video, and it's still up, it's called DJ Academics Reacts to Zesty Gun. Tory Lanez used to shoot Megan the Stallion, explains how it works. This is on the Your Plug channel, so I don't think this is an official DJ Academics channel. It's one of those compilation channel clips of bigger channels that they just cut down content. So in this video, this is the information that I only heard from DJ Academics. Because DJ Academics, well, I'm going to just play the video and just to build up exactly the point that I'm trying to get to. So we're going to go with
anything wrong, but I'm sure they're not.
By the way, everyone wants me to look up the. This is the. And they
All right,
said,
guys, I'm gonna break for lunch. We will be back. We did 10 minutes.
all right, he getting off here. We here for the marathon. They said this right here. They say ain't no grown man carrying this right here. They said this was lime green. They said this was this shit right here, bro.
So notice, he's talking about being on for a marathon. So he's spending hours and hours having conversations with his followers on his large platform about a case, and he's not speaking about anything factually. Hey, listen, if you never intended to have a big platform and you got one, you still have to be responsible for the one that you have. At the end of the day, you have to be responsible for the one that you have, whether you wanted 5 people to listen to you or 5,000. You have to be responsible for what it is that you are disseminating. So if you have 20,000 viewers a night and you're lying about a case and you're swaying public opinion based off of falsities, because this is one of the biggest ones right now when he talks about this weapon and claiming that this was the weapon that Tory Lanez used and making several statements. This isn't just yapping into the ether. All right, let's continue.
So we see here academics is claiming to show the color of the gun. Now he got the make of the gun correct, but he's showing the color and the make of the gun, what he perceives it to be.
They said Tory can't be singing songs like Shooter and popping out with one of these. They said no way Tory gonna pull out one of these joints right here if he been singing songs like Shooter. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you though. I do have a very I have like 26 of them joints. I got like 26. You know what I mean? I got a sniper rifle. I got a sniper rifle that costs like $6,000. I ain't even really use it to. They say you can shoot a mile, nigga. I probably won't hit nothing but shit. Nigga, when I bought this shit, I felt like that nigga a shooter. You know the nigga who was doing the shit with the president shit? I'm like, damn, I felt like that nigga, man. They got the whole little stands and shit. Like it's like, and the fucking bullets like this, nigga. But I got one of these joints right here.
So he's just gonna speak about his experience with this firearm, but he's also gonna talk about the color. So you see he has a lime green color here.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Nah, let me not. I ain't incriminating myself at all, motherfucker. Listen, I'll say this. Some niggas might buy this to be like, oh, this, I could get this in the club. But the lime green and like the colors and shit, this is like some girl shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So there's two aspects to this that I want to highlight. So he's talking about the size. So this is a smaller size pistol, semi-automatic pistol. It's a lot smaller, but he's saying the color will be more attractive to women. So he speaks about the size, but he also speaks specifically about the color several different times.
Like apparently these shit come in different colors like Jolly Ranchers, my nigga. Like fucking Starburst.
So he's saying it comes in different colors with this specific company, specifically geared towards selling to women.
I don't know. But I know a lot of niggas with that, you know what I mean? Some niggas be having some smaller guns that they could get into some places, but you know what I mean? Like, again, why would Tory have that if he don't have it on him and it's just in the car? Why would you have like this gun in the car?
So we're gonna go to the next clip.
Nigga, at least have a 4.5 on you, nigga. Like, nigga. I mean, I could see Meg copping the pistol to match the outfit, match the bikini.
So now he's saying because of the light green colors, he's saying it's plausible that Meg the Stallion copped the pistol to do a mix and match with fashion of the bikini.
I've seen weirder shit. Somebody said, nigga, that's a Glock dookie, nigga. Somebody said, what's Kelsey's favorite color? Oh, my God.
Yeah, and the big, one of his big theories throughout the trial.
Mind you, these people are playing around on his channel with what really happened to a woman. Right? So it's all big jokey joke. Oh, the gun matches what one of the women were wearing. It matched their bathing suit. It matched their outfit. It matched her dress. There was a picture of Meg with Tory Lanez and she had a green dress on. So you have people literally just playing around with this lady's life based off of stupid vloggers like this. All right? Mind you, this is what he's saying the weapon looked like.
Was that Kelsey was possibly the shooter. So now people in the chat are saying, oh, what was Kelsey's outfit? Because they went to Kylie Jenner's party and it was a pool party. So they were in bikinis. So that's why they are trying to match the color to the possible bikini. Again, it's a very bright color Women are more attracted to brighter colors, so they're more likely to get a pistol that's a bright color. And he's inferring Tory Lanez is least likely to have a pistol of this type of color. Like I said, he's talking about the size and the color. He makes both points, but he makes the color points several different times.
Man. This looks like a girl gun, right? I'm gonna tell you the truth. So I don't have a, I don't even know if you call it SCCY or a PSI. I don't have one of these, but I forgot.
I'm gonna go to
What's
the
it gun?
next
Is
clip.
it a SIG? It's really small though. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if y'all niggas got bitch ass nigga hands, but like my hands can't fit around the handle. Like the handle is just literally too short. So like there's a mag extender that I have in there to make sure I can hold it correctly. You get what I mean? Because otherwise it's like I'm holding it with two fingers, my nigga. It's like you're holding it like this, but it's just nigga, you can't aim possibly if you can't get a good grip of the gun. Now, granted, you might be like, well, Tory. Somebody said, I ain't gonna lie to you. Meg bathing suit definitely matched the gun. Stop it. Let me see what Meg was wearing the night of. Registered gun.
So you see how now people are making comments about the color. They're trying to match it to the outfit. They're saying it's a fashion thing. And this is most definitely a woman's gun. So let's go to the final clip where he makes a final comment just to drive the point home about the color.
Trying to sneak a gun into a club would have this, or a woman. I think his is a little bit longer. I think that's slightly fatter. Pause. Yeah. If you're asking me, only a nigga trying to sneak a gun into a club would have this, or a woman. And by the way, the mere fact, like if you go to a gun store, you're gonna see them in pink, bright colors. You're gonna see them in colors that are attractive for women. You get what I mean? Remember when that girl was trying to pull out a gun on me at Fresh and Fit? Nigga, she had one of these. Kid you not, she had one of these. The original pocket rocket, man.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I think the point has been really driven home in terms of academics' interpretation of not only the size, but also the color. So I was going through, and like I said, this is where I only heard the color of the strap. I didn't hear anybody else say that it was a lime green color, right? So he specifically said it was a lime green color because it's attractive to women. So it's more likely it wasn't Tory's gun. That's the whole premise of why he's bringing up the color of the gun. So after the trial,
And you have to really think about this from a legal context, right? Think about this from the perspective of jurors who are going to listen to these cases, and listen to whether or not this was swaying public opinion, because that's really all they have to prove, is that she denigrated her reputation and things like that using her social media influence, right? But he's really saying a lot of this stuff that he's saying that's really not going to be backed by much. It's not going to be backed by much, but he has thousands of people watching him. Thousands. And I actually heard a lot of people repeating what DJ Academic said. So I know she's going for Milagro, who definitely has her own part in it, who received monies on behalf of Tory Lanez's father for him. But there's a lot of players who use their social media influence to bully this woman. All right, let's continue.
Neek at Night and Street TV went down to the courthouse and got the evidence because now it could be released to this public. There's this thing that there's a conspiracy to leak the evidence when evidence after a trial is public, is now public information. Anybody can go get it if they pay a fee, of course. So I was going through the evidence on her page, right? So this is the post. And I'm just going through, and here's a picture of the gun. And here's another picture of the gun. So I'm just looking at this a bit shocked, to be honest, because I was given the information that this was a lime green color and it's more likely a woman's gun. But from what I can see here, this to me at first.
And you know, people, the bird brains who get online and listen to DJ academics and things like that, they're not going to source check. They're pretty much going to take whatever some of these platforms say as gospel, not question it, not check for legitimacy, not check on other sources. But you have a very popular YouTuber, Nika at Night, who I do think she tries to present as fair and neutral. Who again, this definitely looks like a gun that a male will have. This does not look like a gun that matches a bikini. This doesn't look like a gun that a woman would sneak into the club. It doesn't look like any of those things. But again, he talked about being online on a marathon for hours, showing his followers false information. When what he could have done is get on here and show them real evidence. This was the gun. But if he showed this, could he say all those things he said about who could have been owning the gun? Could he say, oh, this looks like a woman's gun? No. He couldn't say that. This looks like a gun that any person would have. In the light, that green part of it, that's olive green, actually looks black, grayish. This is not a weapon that somebody would think is a gun that a woman owns. All of that nonsense. How does this compare to the lime green gun that he just showed? The lime green gun looks like something zesty, like he said. Grandy's Garden said men will pass off blame to women. That's exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to imply that the gun was somebody else's. This is not a lime green gun. This is looks like silver and olive green, which looks like a standard male weapon, a gun that you see with a male. It makes you wonder, why would he be online on his channel just talking nonsense, just for what purpose, other than to make people believe a certain thing, whether he's part of a cult or not? Because people are trying to say, well, this doesn't fit the definition of a cult. Okay, it's not a cult, right? He's simply misusing his social media influence. He's misusing the trust. He's misusing the trust that his followers put in him. That's not a lady's gun. How is this a lady's gun? In what way does this look like a lady's gun? This looks like any old gun that you would see at a crime scene. Nobody's looking at this and saying, oh, that looks like something a woman owns. No.
Glance, it looked like it was black. But if anything, this might have been a olive green color, deep olive green, if this is not black. To me, it's the flash, but this could be a very dark green color, right? So this is the actual color of the gun, okay? And just to make sure we have the proper information, the proper exhibits, here's Street Gangs TV, streetgangs.com. So this is Street TV on YouTube. And they put out all 47 evidence exhibits of the trial. So we're just going to cross-reference and make sure we have the correct picture of the gun, right? So it says here, photo of green 9mm. So it's definitely the same, right? It's definitely the same. So how can DJ Academics boldly state that this was a lime green when in actuality this is more of a regular green color, indicating that this isn't a gun that's going to be owned by a woman, or it's going to be the color specifically is going to be sold to women. And this is definitely the same weapon. It's definitely the same make. So he did get the make right. I just want to point that out, right? As we can see here, and we can see that this does have a bit of a greenish color to it. It's not a traditional green. people call this a olive green, right? That's an actual olive green. Here's a black one on its side, right? Show another one. This is the SCCY. Here's
Looks
another black one,
identical.
right?
It
So
looks it
even
looks
here,
identical. It looks identical to that picture, right? The flash even makes it look like the gun is a lot lighter than what it is, right? So there's no way you look at that gun and say, "Oh, that's a lady's gun." It's just not. Let me see.
we could even do a side-by-side comparison. Make this a little bit smaller. Do a little side-by-side comparison. And this is definitely the same model. We have this little, sort of like an extended butt, just to make the handle a little bit longer because it is a smaller type of firearm. Same here. We have this little rectangular plastic piece right behind the trigger. Same thing here. And we see these grooves here. Groove, the groove here, the groove here. Only thing different is the slide lock is cocked back. And we have these little holes at the back here. So this is definitely the same make. So I'm just looking at this and saying this is definitely not the lime green that academics was portraying it to be. So I feel like that was a very big misstep. I feel like it was very, if anything, loose and sloppy. Like I would have to give academics the benefit of the doubt of not purposely putting this information out there, even though he is biased, just because I don't know exactly what's going on through his mind. I don't know why he would want to purposely put out this information, even though he's just Tory Lanez's friend. I think because he's Tory Lanez's friend, that's why I'm giving him the benefit of doubt of putting information out there without really referencing, cross-referencing, and making sure that it's 100% accurate. So that's the thing. It's about public perception, and a lot of people were listening to academics, lawyers for workers, Milagro Grams, and that's why they were upset with the verdict, because the whole time they were painting this picture that Tory Lanez would get off on the charges, and he did not. So that is the second piece of misinformation given out during this trial from DJ Academics. Now the third one was a little bit more general. I'm going to explain it, but we're going to start off with Lawyers for Workers here and his reporting about Sean Kelly's testimony. Now there's a huge discrepancy I see with people reporting about what Sean Kelly said about how Tory Lanez was firing the weapon, but I'll just play it just to get it started.
Hollywood writers can't make this stuff up. Wait until you hear what the eyewitness testimony was this morning at the Tory Lanez. They asked Mr. Kelly, do you know why you're here? He said, absolutely. The defense attorney put up a picture of the back of his home. You could see a driveway. They had him draw a square where the SUV was parked. It was right on the curb of the back of his house, 10, 15 feet. His window is overlooking it. He stepped out onto his Juliet balcony and he watched for several minutes as Meg the Stallion and Kelsey, the two females, he didn't identify them by name, got out of the car and they were engaged in a fight. It was violent. It was quite aggressive. It started with arguing that woke him up in the middle of the night. Where his house is, often him and his son are woken up in the middle of the night by people who stop in and around the back of his home. This was another night.
Mind you, this is a similar. This was the same video that I was actually thinking about in my head of a person who just got up on their platform and just started talking without telling any form of the truth. But once I realized that this man was associated with DJ Academics, which is what we're going to see in this video, I realized it made a lot of sense. All right, because I'm sure a lot of you saw him as well.
Arguing, escalation, two women fighting. He watched the whole thing while standing on his balcony. Oh my God, it gets crazier. As he looked down on a fight that he described as quite violent, he then saw the larger gentleman, this is presumably the security guard Quan, come and violently try to separate them. Eventually all four were involved in what he called an aggressive, everyone fighting, essentially just a melee, a free-for-all between four people in the middle of the night, right outside of his back window. He said at one point he saw one woman go back towards into the car. At that point he saw a muzzle flash. Then he said there was a man, and after the first few shots from the woman came off, he saw the man getting involved with the woman and more shots went off. On cross-examination, the prosecutor asked him, did you see the man shoot? He said, yes, I saw the shorter man with a gun shooting violently in the air at least 5 times.
So there you have it. He reported, Lawyers for Workers reported that Tory had shot in the air and even motioned his hand up towards the air to show that. So what does this have to do with academics? Well, I mean, Lawyers for Workers has been big ever since the 6ix9ine trial. So a lot of academics viewers would view Lawyers for Workers for getting information. That's one of the people he was checking up regularly with, Lawyers for Workers, Milagro Grams to be specific. Also Dennis Barron, but Dennis Barron was more of a neutral source of information. So I'm just going to play the part here where he's mentioning shooting in the air again.
There are, I won't say holes because it's not like she said, well, maybe she did say there was definitely no fight, but you realize Meg's story isn't completely aligning with the events that night. Would you continue to pursue this?
No, and this is my point. But how the case got pursued? The LAPD was not diligent. The eyewitness told you about an argument between two women, about that escalating, about a physical altercation between two women. How do you not ask either of those women about that? The at the point of everything that Tory takes out a gun and says, "You people are crazy." He fires in the air and a bullet ricochets and somehow hits Megan. The entire investigation.
So you see how he presented the testimony. The testimony.
And mind you, keep in mind, he was involved in the 6ix9ine trial. This loser is likely a clout chasing weirdo who even got a platform to speak by being involved in these types of trials in the first place. All right. Obviously not somebody credible, but somebody that DJ Academic's audience values his opinion. Right? Had they just had this conversation in their backyard, sure. But the fact that they went forward, recorded this, and acted like this lawyer could speak to what a district attorney could do. You are a snake oil salesman, an ambulance chaser at best. You cannot tell a district attorney what they can do with a formal case of clear violence against a person with a weapon. Whether he fired in the air or fired at the floor, he still fired and it dealt. It ended up with her having bullet fragments in her foot. Those are the facts of the case. So the fact that somebody who would call himself a journalist would get up here and speak this way and tell audience of 20,000 people, oh, if it were me, I wouldn't prosecute this. Well, that's why you are a snake oil salesman and an ambulance chaser. That's why you are not a district attorney. That's why you're not a district attorney, because that role requires at least some level of integrity, and you have none. You can be bought. You and academics and others alike were bought to say what you're saying. And it was this misinformation that had a lot of people thinking, oh, Tory's going to win. He's going to be free, blah, blah, blah. And then when he loses, what happens? Now all these mammies and weird channels are saying, no, she's working with the government. This is not quid pro quo. This is COINTELPRO. This is black activists. Now Tory Lanez, a Canadian, which they would call, they would say is a tether. He is somehow being framed for being the next Malcolm X, I guess, of R&B, maybe. I don't know. He's somehow being framed. All right, let's continue.
That he heard was that when Sean Kelly said Tory was firing the weapon, he was firing in the air. So he's mentioned this several times about Tory firing in the air. Like I said, academics audience watches Lawyers for Workers because there's already a mutual relationship for a very long time already. So I'm just showing this because it's a huge discrepancy in what was said in the court, because I know this, apparently other people heard the same thing or reported the same thing, I should say. And I just don't understand why. So here is a debate. This is Nick at Night with another person that was in the trial. So these two, they were both in the trial, right? And just look at the complete difference. Two people in the same court, and look how the information comes out.
Was in court and he was in court the whole time. Anything that they posted that clearly was like, come on now. Tino was saying, nope, it's this. So let me, we picked on Tino back and forth, but he was a sweetie.
I was coming from a logical standpoint on everything. What this whole trial was just basically, I feel like based on was just It was a.
Fix
It was
your camera.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going on. I'm new to this. Y'all be coming up with new streaming sites every 5 minutes. I swear. I don't even know what to do.
Okay, go ahead.
My apologies, but I just felt like this whole thing was just basically over betrayal and loyalty. This whole situation happened off of betrayal and loyalty. Disloyalty. And it was between Meg and Kelsey. I don't think Tory played a part in the whole shooting situation.
He was firing everywhere. Okay, so that's when he was on the stand and he was talking about Tory, and he said Tory was firing like this. He was saying
he didn't do it like this. No.
He did like this in the air, like this.
He was like this, like that. He didn't say he was pointing directly at people.
He said he was shooting everywhere.
It would have been people hitting the chest.
So he did like this.
No
he said Tory was shooting like this.
He did like this.
Tory was shooting. So if Tory was shooting like this, how did
even Kelsey in her
gun miss her head and the rest of her body, and it went and crawled up under her feet?
Because Kelsey the one who shot her. She actually went and shot with the
What was Tory doing? It was only 5 shots.
Tory was part of it. I don't even think he did all 5 of those shots. Man, I think he was part of the last 2.
Who missed the gun?
When he was trying to grab her.
So people just want to see and hear what they want to hear. This big burly toad obviously went into court already believing that Tory was innocent. It didn't matter what was actually said by eyewitnesses, right? The eyewitness clearly said that he was shooting all over the place, meaning probably like this, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's how you get a bullet in the floor that's going to ricochet into somebody's foot. Not by shooting in the air. You shoot in the air, you're going to probably hit something that's going to ricochet up or away. If you're shooting boom, 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 that bullet's going to hit the ground and hit somebody. I mean, it's ridiculous. How are they both? And that's the thing. 2 people in the same courtroom. One of them took notes. The other one's just spewing nonsense out of his big, fat gullet. He doesn't even have a neck. He has no neck. So how can we trust any of the information that he got? Him and Neek were in the same place, and she heard he was shooting all over the place. And if he's saying dance B, guys, dance B, hear me out. Dance B, doesn't that look way more accurate than dance B? No, dance B, because he's telling you, oh, you want to come, you want big burly toad, y'all like that? Yeah, this big burly toad. Dance B, that looks exactly like what Meg said he told her to do. Yeah, how you have no neck? He has no neck. And at this point, how do you trust somebody who doesn't have a whole major body part? Like your whole neck is missing? How do you trust somebody like that? You can't trust somebody who doesn't have a neck, bro. You can't trust what they'll say, what they'll see. They're missing a whole aspect of life, at the end of the day. But it's him and Neek were both in that courtroom. And he has no neck. Can you see a neck? Joanne, can you point to the neck? Can you point to his neck? Let me know tell me to stop when you see the neck. No, I just see shoulders and a head attached. But I think it's insane, that they both went to the same trial, and she's saying he was shooting all over the place. And again, if somebody's saying dance B, and a person who's seeing a bystander sees you going dance B, or maybe they don't even hear the dance B, but they see him shooting all over the place, that more accurately is going to be descriptive of what was going on. Joanne said, no, I cannot point to his neck. Yes, we're all looking for it. But which one is more accurate? Shooting all over the place. Let's say he's going boom, 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 boom. Shooting up, that's very distinct. If the witness is saying he was shooting all over the place, maybe he was playing with her like that and he thought it was funny. But it just goes to show you how 2 people can be interpreting the same thing totally different. Totally different. Oops, hold on, guys.
What'd you say? If you listen to the gun. I think Tory was trying to grab old girl who was shooting, Kelsey. He was grabbing a girl who was shooting, and then while she was still pulling the trigger, he probably had her arm like this, and it was still going off.
But the guy didn't say he had a girl's arm and the arm was going like this.
Tussling.
He said, was the short, he said.
You see, so Neek was actually taking notes, and she's looking right directly into the notes. Like I said, Neek, or maybe I didn't say it, but I think Neek was more impartial. I would say she was more leaning towards not knowing who did it, more leaning towards, I guess, Tory not being guilty. But she was as impartial as she could be. Definitely more impartial than Milagro and Lawyers for Workers and some others. More closer to Dennis Byron coverage.
Hold on. He said, you saw a muzzle flash when the smaller guy got out. He said, yes, they were all fighting. He said, was the short guy saying anything? He said they were all shouting. Do you recall saying the chap got out and started shooting? He said he was very agitated. He was firing everywhere, and he did like this. But according to Tino, he did like this, which Tino knows is a lie.
So she's basically calling him out in the way that he's reporting what he had heard. And like I said, got two different people in the same court, and they come out with two different interpretations. So
Very agitated. He was firing everywhere, and he did like this. But according to Tino, he did like this.
Okay, so what did I say? He did like this. Dance B. Dance B. That looks way more likely to what happened versus dance B. No. This fits. Shooting all over the place. A general disregard for the people that are around you. Maybe you're trying to scare somebody without touching them. And he thought, oh, I'm not going to shoot her directly. I'm just going to scare her. But you thought wrong, Tory, and that's why you're in a jail. And if they dislike you enough, they might even deport you once you finish your sentence. And you can never come back to the United States. I mean, it's crazy to see the reporting in this case and have people still act like their opinions about this case are unbiased. No. You guys let these social media influencers influence you into bullying somebody who was shot by her friend.
So she's basically calling him out in the way that he's reporting what he had heard. And like I said, got two different people in the same court, and they come out with two different interpretations. So in my opinion, this guy, whoever he is very biased towards Tory Lanez's side 100%. Because if Sean Kelly didn't say Tory was shooting in the air, then how did Lawyers for Workers in the sky put in the air in Sean Kelly's mouth? It's very interesting.
Anyways, they said, how many shots? They said, how many shots? He said it was about 4 or 5 shots. After they did that, then they played the audio of the gunshots at that point. So let me play the audio of the gunshots like they did in court, child.
For sure.
They played after that. They played the audio, and Tino, he even said audio not real, child. We gonna listen to
The
Tino.
audio that you released yesterday don't sound like it was in court. The one in court was sped up. It was a lot faster. But you can play it there.
Child, Tino is something funny, child.
I promise you, I'm not making. I really wish this whole thing was like televised so people could see what took place.
All right, so in that audio, he had Kelsey's hand, and he was doing her hand like this.
That's what I feel. Yes, and the dude just couldn't tell what was going on.
So the shots that go pow, pow, pow.
That was Kelsey. Pow. Yeah.
Tory is grabbing Kelsey's hand like this.
Yes. He was tussling with her for the gun. The girl took it to a whole nother level. She was hurt behind measures. Like it's obvious that she's the one who did it. She had the motive.
Right. So you see,
and I guess this fat idiot is a investigative crime analyst, crime scene analyst. Because again, she's saying, let's play the shots so you can hear it. And there's a certain chronology that you can hear even in shots, right? That he's going to deny. Somebody's struggling for a weapon. It's not going to be boom, 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 boom. It's going to be boom, 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 boom. Maybe more delayed, right? And I guess I'm being a little melodramatic, but let's be real. If somebody's struggling for a weapon, it's not going to be boom, boom, boom. It's not going to be boom, 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 boom. It's going to be boom, 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 right? Because a struggle is going to delay some of the shots. But we're talking about straight shots that you can hear. Just boom, 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 one after the other. Which is more conducive to someone going boom, boom, dance, B, because that's what she said he said to her. She stuck with that till the end. Whether she admitted to sleeping with him or not on public social media, it doesn't matter. What she said he did. That never changed. That was the most consistent story. All right, let's continue though.
The audio of the gunshots at that point. So let me play the audio of the gunshots like they did in court, child.
For sure.
They play after that. They played the audio, and Tino, he even said the audio not real, child. We gonna listen to
The
Tino.
audio that you released yesterday don't sound like what was in court. The one in court was sped up. It was a lot faster. But you can play it. Yeah.
Child, Tino is something funny, child.
I promise you, I'm not making. I really wish this whole thing was like televised so people could see what took place.
All right, so in that audio, he had Kelsey's hand and he was doing her hand like this.
That's what I feel, yes. And the dude just couldn't tell what was going on.
So
So again, undelayed shots. Boom, 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 boom. Conducive with someone going boom, 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 boom. Dance, B. Dance, B. Right? Someone pointing at the ground and getting a bunch of rounds off versus somebody struggling with the weapon and getting a few shots off every couple of seconds. I mean, Nick was doing the right thing here by hearing that couldn't have been what was happening. There was no struggle happening when those shots were fired. All right, let's hear those shots one more time. Then we're going to sort of move past and see what else they were discussing here.
it was about 4 or 5 shots. After they did that, then they played the audio of the gunshots at that point. So let me play the audio of the gunshots like they did in court, child.
For sure.
They play after that. They played the audio, and Tino, he even said the audio not real, child. We gonna listen to
The
Tino.
audio that you released yesterday don't sound like what was in court. The one in court was sped up. It was a lot faster. But you can play it. Yeah.
Child, Tino is something funny, child.
I promise you, I'm not making. I really wish this whole thing was like televised so people could see what took place.
All right, so in that audio, he had Kelsey's hand and he was doing her hand like this.
That's what I feel, yes. And the dude just couldn't tell what was going on.
So the shots that
The court was sped up. It was a lot faster. But you can play it. Yeah.
child, Tino is something funny, child.
I promise you, I'm not making. I really wish this whole thing was like televised so people could see what took place.
All right, so in that audio, he had Kelsey's hand and he was doing her hand like this.
That's what I feel, yes. And the dude just couldn't tell what was going on.
So the shots that go pow, pow, pow.
That was Kelsey. Pow, yeah.
Tory is grabbing Kelsey's hand like this.
Yes. He was tussling with her for the gun. The girl took it to a whole nother level. She was hurt behind measures. Like it's obvious that she's the one who did it. She had the motive.
Pow, 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 pow. Just like how she kind of played it out. That's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like a struggle. But this person, this big fat idiot here, he has no intention of telling the truth. He wants to portray it how he wants to portray it. All right, let's hear the rest of this video.
Right. So you see the lengths he's going to say that the gun was in the air, right? But this is why I say you need to check several different sources. So I'll just be driving the whole point home now with this final piece of disinformation, right? So just have to look into the media and what was said. Tory Lanez was firing everywhere after brawl in Megan the Stallion shooting trial witness testifies. So I'm pretty sure if Sean Kelly did say that in the air, it would be in the headline in the air, but it says firing everywhere. So I'm just wondering if people took the word everywhere and decided to replace it with air. Because you know how people, you hear words and then you just replace it with another word, right? I generally think people took everywhere and just replace it with air as in it was the same, right? But the hand motions is also a discrepancy as well too. Some people say he was firing forward, other people say that he was firing in the air for some reason. But the media is reporting that Sean Kelly said he was firing everywhere. We have Law and Crime. This is Megan Cuniff. She was the court reporter that was given the play-by-plays, giving the real information and debunking the misinformation. Even during the trial, people had reported, not DJ Academics, I'm not going to put that on DJ Academics, but not people, but publications like No Jumper Say Cheese said that the verdict leaked and Tory Lanez was found not guilty. Megan Cuniff cleared that up and said how I don't even want to get into it. Like that part was very silly as well too. But Megan Cuniff, she was tweeting the entire time. It even says here In trial twist, defense witness testifies Tory Lanez was firing everywhere. So this entire time before Sean Kelly, the defense was saying the gun was never in Tory.
So we see that there, right? They pretty much laid out a case for Megan the Stallion. She can certainly, I believe, she could probably sue academics too, but it's going to be harder to make it stick. He's a bigger conglomerate. He has a lot more behind him, more corporations and things like that. So, not saying it's impossible, but we'll see. All right, so BBC covered this trial and they talked about how the shooting trial was divisive, right? It played out divisively in many ways. So, first of all, Tory Lanez's arrest, trial, and sentencing for Megan the Stallion's shooting is one of the longest running sagas in the world of hip hop. Think about it. Right now, she's suing Milagro, but this has been ongoing since 2020. In its latest development, his appeal against his conviction for the attack on his fellow musician was rejected. The appeals court didn't see any case for that. And we're going to go into what the appeals court said as well. Because notice, a lot of people who mention this case, they talk about a number of things. They talk about how, what's her name? Kelsey took a plea, immunity, blah, blah, blah. But the questions or the issues that are raised by his attorneys in the appeal have nothing to do with any of the things that people are claiming are why, she's not innocent or whatever. All right. So, the 33-year-old rapper tried to argue that evidence admitted into his trial shouldn't have been allowed and that jurors in the case weren't given the correct instructions about considering their verdicts. Lane's real name, Daystar Peterson, had also appealed against his 10-year sentence, which he claimed was too harsh, right? So he fired a weapon, whether it was directly at a person or towards the ground, that ended up ricocheting and hitting somebody. And he believes that a 10-year sentence, that he can shave some years off doing good time work, is too harsh. I mean, this is after continuously spinning a narrative throughout the whole trial, delaying proceedings, claiming that he was getting ineffective counsel after the fact, but while he had his attorney, really wasn't making any claims about what was happening. In a 46-page response, judges in California rejected all of his claims and said any mistakes that were made would not have changed the guilty verdicts. As the case has played out over the past 5 years, it's involved a bitter war of words, a dramatic trial, and some of the biggest names in rap. The trial finally got going in December of 2022. So he shot her in July of 2020. It took about a year and a half for the trial to get going, and Megan testified. She talked about a party that they were at, Carly Jenner's party, and they ended up leaving. They got into an argument, and she made some jokes about Tory Lanez and his talent. And this is where people will start to do the victim shaming, victim blaming that people do in the community, the Black community, that is, right? If you're a woman, if you're honest, you have a slick tongue, well, that's a reason for you to get killed and attacked. And you should just know not to say those things. Right? That you should just know not to. And that's what they did with her here. They said, that she made some slick comments, inappropriate things that kind of set him off. All right? Let's continue here. The jury heard, let's see here, sorry. She mocked his talents, and she demanded to be let out of the car and heard him shouting at her to dance. He then opened fire with a handgun. The jury heard how she left a trail of blood at the scene, and minutes after the shooting, a friend messaged her saying, "Help, Tory shot Meg." Right? These are all digital tracks that people think and they don't realize exist. All right? I wanted to pull up this video here about Milagro and some of the damaging reports that she made, because this is where they called her a liar, and said that she specifically lied about certain things with Tory Lanez. So she came out and made like breaking news reports about the case. So hold on, somebody put it in a short, and let's hear this clip.
You want to show me something? I've been following the Tory Lanez trial really closely, so I was surprised when I saw this viral tweet saying that Megan's team confirmed she slept with him during her court session. It was tweeted on Monday, but Megan didn't even make a court appearance until Tuesday. So I looked into this account, Rap House TV. Rap House TV sourced this information from Milagro Grams. She is a hip-hop commentator who has been reporting on the trial from inside the courtroom. Milagro Grams tweeted this on Monday, which implies that Megan's team was in the courtroom. But Megan doesn't even have a team that's playing a role in this case because she's not the one on trial. Tory Lanez has a defense team, and there's a prosecution which is representing the state of California, not Megan. She is testifying as a witness. I reached out to Milagro Grams, and she told me that her tweet was actually referring to the prosecution, not Megan's lawyers. Still, people ran with this claim, and the misinformation went viral. The Rap House TV tweet has now been deleted, but before then, users were able to add a clarification underneath. I've been following the Tory Lanez trial really closely, so I was surprised when I saw this.
It's been refreshing a lot. So she talks about a statement that Milagro made, and I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to stop. I had to step out for a second, so I missed exactly how she broke it down that I wanted to share with you all. All right, let's get into it.
This viral tweet saying that Megan's team confirmed.
Megan the Stallion legal team confirms that she slept with Tory Lanez during her court session. All right, this is what Milagro put out. What does this have to do in any way, shape, or form with what Tory did, which was shoot at her? Whether he intended for it to really hit her or not, it's what he did. But this is a statement that was put out by Milagro Grams.
She slept with him during her court session. It was tweeted on Monday, but Megan didn't even make a court appearance until Tuesday. So I looked into this account, Rap House TV. Rap House TV sourced this information from Milagro Grams. She is a hip-hop commentator who has been reporting on the trial from inside the courtroom. Milagro Grams tweeted this on Monday, which implies that Megan's team was in the courtroom. But Megan doesn't even have a team that's playing a role in this case because she's not the one on.
Mind you, and it's easy to spread and peddle these lies to people who know nothing about the legal process whatsoever, who don't understand that the prosecution can decide to move forward with charges with or without the victim. They don't necessarily need their testimony, especially if there's a lot of physical evidence. They took pictures, DNA evidence, and things like that. So they didn't necessarily need her. So Meg's team, how? The prosecution works for Meg now? No, the prosecution works for the people. And anybody who understands the legal process would know that.
Trial. Tory Lanez has a defense team, and there's a prosecution which is representing the state of California, not Megan. She is testifying as a witness. I reached out to Milagro Grams, and she told me that her tweet was actually referring to the prosecution, not Megan's lawyers. Still, people ran with this claim, and the misinformation went viral. The Rap House TV tweet has now been deleted, but before then, users were able to add a clarification underneath. I've been following the Tory Lanez.
So again, putting these statements out in the heat of the moment of an investigation, yeah, it's going to have an effect on a lot of people. People are going to see these things and believe they're true. Maybe they might even believe that a person was exonerated just based off of a lie. All right, so let's go to the appeal here, because in the appeal, Tory Lanez's lawyers only address a certain amount of things. They don't necessarily talk about anything that's mentioned online in terms of what's going to free him, because they talk about a new witness, right? The bodyguard, all of that. None of that is presented here as part of the appeals process. So let's see what those 7 items are. So 7 issues that he brought up. All right. So first, the defense has made allegations of discovery violations. I reviewed the records carefully, and I did not find one instance where there was a request for a late discovery instruction or request for continuance, which we'll get to when we talk about some of these issues. All right. So first of all, the first claim that he made was that discovery violations occurred, meaning that her attorney, or not her attorneys, the prosecution You see how it messes with you, right? But the prosecution had evidence that they did not give to his attorney in a timely fashion. That's where a discovery violation comes. Because in any criminal trial, you have to present your evidence to the attorney, the other attorney, and the judge. It can't just come out of nowhere. And if it does, it can only be in rare instances. All right, so the judge is saying there's none of that. Secondly, there are a number of grounds that the defense complains of wherein the defense did not make objections at the time of the trial, and we'll talk about this as well. So he's saying here that his attorney at the time didn't make certain objections that they should have. Invalid counsel, whatever you want to call it. Third, in making the determination as to whether there's a miscarriage of the justice, the court has to look at the entire record, which includes the testimony of other witnesses, the other physical evidence, and everything else which are not referenced in the moving papers. And fourth, the defense cannot correct me when you speak as to whether I'm wrong. It appears that the defense is not alleging ineffective assistance of counsel, or at least with respect to McDavid. Now I'll hear from counsel. Let me just indicate this is a motion for a new trial. This is not a trial. We're not retrying the merits of the case. We're litigating the trial. I don't need you to repeat anything, either side, in your moving papers. I reviewed them very thoroughly. I would like for you to direct your arguments and comments to the court and to the issues raised in the moving papers. So already in this, they were trying to kind of meander around what they're actually asking of the court. So Tory Lanez and his team got online and said, we have a new witness. That new witness claims to have heard admissions of guilt from people who were not Tory Lanez, right? But he's talking about ineffective counsel, discovery being late, meaning they're not getting evidence that's going to be in the trial until too late. Right, so this next page is the judge saying, I advise you to avoid some of the hyperbole and ineffective that is contained in the moving papers, which is not necessary. He's saying take out that extra language, get to the point of what you're trying to say. All right, so they say here, the first one is that there was improper admission of Exit 40A. That was the Instagram post. The second was the improper admission of the defendant's statement about being on probation. So again, keep in mind, his team came out and said there was a new witness. But in the appeal papers, they're saying that there was an Instagram post that they don't believe should have been part of the trial. They believe that a statement about the defendant being on probation was improperly admitted. There was a violation of the defendant's right to counsel, which deals with Miss Holly. So one of his attorneys was flipped, or whatever you want to call it. Fourth, there was improper admission of DNA evidence. Fifth, there was an improper admission of Exhibit 18, which was a picture of Mr. Peterson. And your argument is also the 35-2 argument regarding reference to videos and musical expression. So again, they didn't want music or other things involved in the case. Their sixth argument is improper admission of Ms. Harris' out-of-court statements. So this is another one of his attorneys that made out-of-court statements that were improper. And then their last argument in the appeals was supplemental pleading about having conflicted counsel. So in his 7 points that he raised in the appeal, none of them included a new eyewitness testimony. Nothing about this eyewitness having heard or has the admission of somebody else saying that they're guilty. Literally everything has just been made up. Joshua says he should have gotten a better team. Yes, he should have invested the money in a better team. But he thought that all his social media antics were going to sway the jury. That didn't happen in this case. But the appeal tells you right here, he never talked about having an alternative suspect or an alternative person who would have committed the crime. He knows that he committed the crime, but he knows that there's DNA evidence of it. But the people who are getting online are purposely ignoring all of these facts. So again, here on this page, Exhibit D, page 7 of 206. So we're not going to go through all of this. He talks about communications by prior counsel with Mr. Peterson and with his representatives, with each other. There were also references to defense strategy. In abundance of caution, I sealed that. So he's saying that in an effort to overturn his conviction, his attorney sent privileged attorney-client communications, conversations that really shouldn't be public. I don't know what information was in that, but if the judge said I sealed it out of an abundance of caution, means it wasn't helpful information in the first place, and it could have been misread. So yeah, he should have gotten a better team. But does that mean that he wasn't guilty or that the evidence wouldn't have pointed to him being guilty? No. And all the people who are caping for Tory Lanez need to ask his attorneys why in the appeal they didn't say that there was new DNA evidence or that there was new first-person witness testimony. They claim that this bodyguard is the bombshell, but why is this bodyguard not included in the appeal whatsoever? I'm not 100% sure because I'm not an attorney, but at this point, wouldn't a new possible perpetrator of whatever happened be introduced? Why is that not included in his appeal? Or is it perhaps that never happened? That that's not even a real thing? That this sudden new witness testimony is full of shit? You guys tell me what you think. What do you guys think? All right, let's continue. All right, so we're going to go into the civil trial now. So a lot of what's going on is, again, misinformation. People are saying, well, why is Meg choosing to sue Milagro, right? And just like DJ Academics, who's a much bigger conglomerate, she put out misinformation too. So let's go into the actual civil trial in relation to the case and how Meg is stating that Milagro critically got involved in a case that she had on, that she slandered this woman and attempted to bully her using her internet platform and Tory Lanez influence. All right, so let's get into it. By the way, Megan ate up every single one of these court looks. All right, and then we're gonna see what trashy old Milagro looked like at court right after we're done with this video. All right, let's get into it. Do me a favor if you haven't already to hit the like button, share, subscribe, put your notification bells on to get more videos from me.
Good day. Megan the Stallion is serving looks. But instead of the red carpet, she's walking back into court. The rapper using tailored suits and eye-catching power dresses to send a message as she wages the latest legal battle in connection with the Tory Lanez shooting saga.
Megan is absolutely sending a message through her fashion. She is telling everyone that she means business, and she is taking this with all the seriousness that it needs to be taken with.
As the artist behind massive hits like Body and Savage, which won her a Grammy Award, Megan, like most celebrities, is no stranger to online criticism.
Meg, whoa.
But in the aftermath of the 2020 incident, when Tory Lanez shot her in the foot, as seen in this TMZ video, and the explosive, headline-grabbing criminal trial that followed, Megan says that criticism has turned into a full-scale attack.
Well, mind you, that's the same video that a lot of these birds claim that they can see her distinctly stepping on glass and not bullet fragments coming out of her feet. Right? They don't see the pool of blood. They really can't see anything clearly, but they claim that this video gives them enough evidence to see what the jury, the district attorney, and everybody else could not see.
TMZ video, and the explosive, headline-grabbing criminal trial that followed, Megan says that criticism has turned into a full-scale attack.
Just because you have freedom of speech, that does not mean you have freedom to bully.
Now, more than 2 years after Lanez was convicted, the artist is taking on a social media influencer, accusing her of waging a war of harassment and bullying. It's a case many are watching, since the outcome could determine who qualifies as media and what kind of speech is protected online.
This case has potential to be, very significant. I think there are a lot of people who have amplified platforms who often get targeted by certain bloggers, and it does affect not only their, mental health, but also their bottom lines.
In the lawsuit, Megan says Milagro Cooper, known online as Milagro Grams, spent years spreading false information and promoting a deep-fake pornographic video of the rapper. And she says Cooper was getting paid to do it on Lanez's behalf.
Megan the Stallion's attorneys are claiming that Milagro Cooper basically coordinated with both Tory Lanez and his father of getting information that was completely incorrect and completely defamatory to try to, I guess, influence the court of public opinion. And they're saying that this negatively affected Megan and that it caused her to have extreme emotional distress and other harms.
Megan is now suing Cooper in federal court for defamation, accusing Cooper of cyberstalking, intentionally inflicting emotional distress, promotion of that deepfake video, and invasion of privacy. The rap star testified that Cooper attacked Megan's character, casting her as a liar and as mentally unstable.
Megan also feels that part of this feels like revenge, too, in a lot of ways, that this blogger purposely targeted her for speaking out and telling what exactly happened between her and Tory Lanez. She's talked about, being depressed.
And the thing that people have to understand is that narcissistic abusers have a lot of flying monkeys. A lot of people who believe in their integrity, who are invested in protecting their integrity, whether it exists or not, right? But these types of people usually have flying monkeys, which is what we would call Milagro and others who jumped out on behalf of Tory Lanez. Whether those people were paid or not, their role was to disseminate information that would make it hard to see what was right in front of our eyes, which was that Tory was an abuser. And he got angry at Meg for whatever she said, for whatever argument they had, and he started shooting. And instead of leaving it alone, what did he do? He jumped on the internet and continued to antagonize her, so she told the truth. Imagine that you lie to protect a bandit, and he continues to speak poorly against you, poorly on your name. I can understand why she retracted her statement, which was to protect him in the first place. There was a lot of nasty things being said about her, and there's still a lot, which is so strange. There's so many black women that say we should believe each other and advocate for all the violence that's going on towards black women. But when one of us speaks out, this is what a lot of us do. We rally behind people who are proving that they're not trustworthy, like Milagro, like Tory Lanez, like all the people in that camp who work tirelessly to try to ruin her reputation.
And not even wanting to be alive anymore.
Cooper maintains her posts are covered by the First Amendment. And while she admitted under oath that Lanez's father did pay her money, she says it was for unrelated personal reasons and promotional work. Lanez's father, Sunstar Peterson, was often seen outside court during his son's trial.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witness the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen.
Peterson stated in a deposition that he paid for some of Cooper's travel expenses.
Let's be very clear. This person is not a journalist. Journalists really are telling stories in its totality. We actually abide by a code of ethics and standards.
Lanez is a Canadian rapper born Daystar Peterson, known for hits like Love and Say It. The ordeal began in July 2020 when Megan was partying at Kylie Jenner's house with friends, shown here in an Instagram Live video. Also at the party, her friend, Tory Lanez. Megan, Tory, and another friend, Kelsey Harris, all reported that they left the party together. Lanez later texted Megan that he'd gotten too drunk. While they were in the car, an argument broke out.
So I get out the car and it's like everything.
Yeah, his name is Sunstar. I'm pretty sure that's another name for Satan. But yeah, that's his father's name.
It happens so fast.
Here's what Megan told CBS's Gayle King happened next.
And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, dance, and he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God. If I take the wrong step, I don't know if he can shoot something that's like super important. I don't know if he could shoot me and kill me. Like,
were you afraid for your life at that time?
I was really scared because I had never been shot at before.
5 shots rang out. This TMZ video shows the aftermath. Megan struggled to walk, leaving a trail of bloody footprints. When police arrived on the scene, Megan did not tell them that she'd been shot, saying instead that she stepped on glass.
She was scared. It was the middle of the night. She had just gotten shot. It was friends of hers that were involved. She didn't tell the full, story immediately, but she did shortly thereafter.
Tory Lanez becomes identified on social media as the alleged shooter. And almost immediately after that, fans of Tory Lanez and some other folks who I don't think who even knew who Tory Lanez were, but were certainly in the business of vilifying Megan the Stallion, began to push back on that narrative.
Lanez was charged in the incident in October 2020. He stood trial in December of 2022.
How you feeling today, Megan? Great.
After years of speculation and rumors, the trial lasted only 11 days. When Megan took the stand, her voice cracked as she testified. "I wish he would have just shot and killed me if I knew I was going to have to go through this torture. This has messed up my whole life. I don't even want to be on this earth no more." The jury found Lanez guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. He's now serving a 10-year prison sentence.
I think when Tory was convicted and then later sentenced, it really felt validating for Megan. It felt like she was being listened to, and a court of law definitely believed her.
What's going to be your final message to jurors today?
She hopes this current jury believes her too. In this defamation trial, many of the rumors and misinformation spread over the years, even after Lanez's conviction, have been rehashed. Megan's team arguing that Cooper posted debunked statements on social media, including that Megan was not shot at all. They showed the jury Megan's medical x-rays. Cooper testified that she couldn't say that Megan lied, but that she did not believe Megan was shot.
Cooper, through her own defense and on the stand, is saying that she's not defaming Megan, that instead she's giving her opinion based on the facts that she's been given, that she's a commentator.
So, honey, this is the thing. Everybody wants to be a commentator, creator, social media influencer, but they don't want the responsibilities that come with that. And you can't just get up on here and say any old false opinion. You guys cheered when Cardi B sued Tasha K. That's what you guys, yes, she's so messy. So we should be holding every blogger, commentator to the same standard. You can't just lie and make up stuff, especially if the real information is abundantly clear and it's really out there already. All right, now I'm going to show you guys a little clip. This is Milagro going into court. I truly do believe that certain people, the way they treat people is really a reflection of who they are, how they see themselves, right? But we just saw beautiful, classy Meg. This is Milagro with her legal team. let me just say her attorneys look fine, sure. But anybody who shows up to court looking like this, she, she has a chain at her waist. I mean, it's giving every bit of streetwalker. Every bit of streetwalker. And sometimes I truly believe that's how some people present is their spiritual vibration right here. This is it. She looks like she has a police officer uniform on. Mini skirt at that. It's literally a mini skirt at that. Jealous of what? Jealous of what? She doesn't even look good. Jealous of what? She could have worn that out on a Saturday night, not for court. Exactly. It's not giving court attire. Let's be real here. It's giving going to the club on Sunday night. Saturday. Okay. How short her skirt is. Look, you have the thing around the waist. She's being brought in on the weekend. Walker. Nothing professional about that whatsoever. Obviously, her attorney said, well, she's going to dress how she wants to. She wants to look hood fabulous. Let her look hood fabulous. That's what that's giving. Drive a nigga coupe. I'm just not of the belief that a mini skirt is gonna do for court. That's just me. But this is the person who's going around defaming Meg, and she's doing it for Tory Lanez, right? Which is what Megan is arguing. She's arguing that that Milagro received money from the father, which Milagro admitted to. All of that. All right, guys, let's see. I think that's all I got for you. Oh, there was also this thing here about a deep fake, right? So apparently, Milagro shared a post of somebody that was accusing a sexually explicit video of including Meg, right? So a lot of people were apparently watching this fake video, and it was sort of determined, hey, that's Meg, even though there was no real proof of that, right? So she took the stand and struggles with mental health issues because of a sexually explicit video, deepfake video. A blogger is aligned to encourage followers to watch. The Grammy Award-winning artist took to the witness stand in her lawsuit against blogger Milagro Grams, who's accused of being a mouthpiece, a puppet, and a paid surrogate. I'm such a Rhode Islander. Paid surrogate for rapper Tory Lanez during and after his high-profile criminal trial. Grams is accused of encouraging thousands of followers on X and Instagram to view an unauthorized, sexually explicit, deepfake video of Megan that had been circulating on social media. Yeah, so it looks like this happened around the time where it was a fake sexually explicit video circulating on X, and said that the video actually, was against their privacy policy and all that anyways. Rapper Megan the Stallion is the latest female celebrity to speak out after being targeted with a deep fake that circulated on X over the weekend. It's really sick how y'all go out of the way to hurt me when you see me winning. That's literally Meg talking to the Dusties who hate her. And a lot of them have been motivated by this case to continue to hate her. Motivated by people like academics. She wrote it was fake, adding, "Just know today was your last day playing with me, and I mean it." And this was in June 10th of 2024, and she hasn't stopped stepping on the necks of bandits since then. And I think she's sending a powerful message. She's lucky as a woman of means to be able to fight, but she knows most women in these similar circumstances can't fight this. So that's my 2 cents on this case here, guys. We'll see how this plays out. I do want to continue to cover some more of the trial against Milagro in the defamation case. There's still a lot coming out pending, so I'll probably let it marinate for a little bit more before I come out. But I'm going to send you guys off with some music. Hopefully you guys have been liking my new AI songs. I have a few new ones that I just kind of put together for the show today, and I'm going to continue to make more to keep the channel going and spicy. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.
Midnight whispers in the alleyway. Steel toe kicks on the pavement play. Silent moves like a ghost in flight. Hood up tight beneath the street light. Echoes scream but the sirens lie. Justice sleeps while the wicked rise. Fists don't talk, they recite the law. Every hit leaves the guilty raw. Shadow justice in the neon glow. Dancing dark where the lost souls go. One wrong step and you're in my sight. I'm the judge in the dead of night. I'm the judge in the dead of night. Moonlight spills like a silver stain. Truth don't bend for the dollar's chain. Bloodstained rhythm, my heart still pure to the last wrong phase from the door. Concrete scars tell the tales untold. Every crack holds a story cold. Breath like smoke when the chase begins. No remorse when the sinner grins. Handcuffed dreams in a crooked town. Kings of ash wear a plastic crown, but the fire burn where the shadows creep. I don't rest till the streets can sleep. Shadow justice in the neon glow. Dancing dark where the lost souls go. One wrong step and you're in my sight. I'm the judge in the dead of night. I'm the judge in the dead of night. Midnight streets hum with a silent cold. Footsteps echo where the shadows go. A flicker moves behind the alley light. A puzzle forms in the neon night. Whispers weave through the city's pain. Hey, clues unfold like a dollar chain. Got a sharp mind and a sharper creed. Justice rides on a baseline beat.